Yo, what's good, family? We're about to dive into something real, something deep that's woven into the very fabric of America. But before we react, let's break this down. Ivy got 5 facts about the African American struggle that might just change the way you see everything. Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about the so-called end of slavery. Did you know that even after the 13th Amendment, a loophole allowed for slavery as a punishment for a crime? This led to the convict leasing system, where black people, often arrested for minor offenses, were forced back into brutal, unpaid labor. It was slavery by another name, a system designed to keep the old power structures in place. Next, fact 2, Jim Crow laws. We've all heard the term, but do you know how deep it went? These weren't just about separate water fountains. They were a comprehensive legal framework of racial segregation that controlled where black people could live, work, eat, and even be buried. It was a suffocating system meant to enforce a second-class citizenship, and its effects are still felt in our communities today. Fact 3 is about economic disparity. The promise of 40 acres and a mule was a dream that never came true for most freed slaves. Instead, sharecropping trapped families in a cycle of debt for generations. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate economic system that prevented black families from building wealth, creating a gap that persists to this very day. Think about that inherited wealth and how far behind our communities were forced to start. Fourth, let's touch on redlining. Starting in the 1930s, the government literally drew red lines on maps around black neighborhoods, deeming them hazardous for investment. This made it nearly impossible for black families to get home loans, locking them out of the primary way Americans build wealth. It's a clear example of systemic racism baked right into government policy, shaping the demographics and resources of our cities. And finally, fact 5, the injustice within the justice system. The disparity in sentencing is staggering. Studies consistently show that African Americans receive harsher sentences than white Americans for the exact same crimes, from the war on drugs to mandatory minimums. The system has disproportionately targeted and incarcerated our people. It's a modern-day struggle that connects directly back to that loophole in the 13th Amendment. Look, these facts aren't just history. They are the roots of the reality we navigate every single day. Understanding them is the first step to changing them. It's heavy stuff, I know, but knowledge is power. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. Which fact hit you the hardest? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real talk. Peace.